Right, good morning. Uh, I'm not quite sure how to start this one because I don't want it to come across as a boast, if you know what I mean. But I'm constantly bemoaning the fact that I haven't seen many physical changes, or, the physical changes I've seen have been minimal, if that makes sense. Um, you know, yeah, I really need to get on with laser. But the one thing that I have found, and I am so very, very happy about, is the hair recovery on the top of my head. Now, not so much at the front. The front still has the receding bit, but when you go up to the top of my head, this is going to be awkward to do, but get to the top of my head up there. Up there. Now you can kind of see where's it gone? Where's my hand? This sort of was where my bald spot used to be. Oh, tilt. I'm trying to do this in the car. It's not the easiest thing. And you can see where it's a little thin in places. See where the lighter patches are. That was never going to be easy in the car, even with a mirror. But yeah, my hairline has always been a source of sort of distress for me to a degree. And I've always been a little worried that if I ever tried to grow my hair out, that bit would not look great. And when I mean, this is on the fresh dye job. I literally dyed this last night. But you can still see on the top where there is hair and it has regrown. And yeah, again, this is just it's one of those odd ones. I've mentioned in the past that they say that if it's been gone for longer than 5 years, it's not coming back. But so I have been very, very lucky, and it is still very. Your mileage may vary. It might be the case that you don't get any hair growth at all on your head, anyway. But it just makes me feel really, really good. I mean, I remember when I dyed it. I think it was last month. And I just got the mirror out and I'm like, well, let's see how my balls wears. I burst into tears because of how much had actually grown back. Now, the one problem I have with, especially with the pink colour, is that when it starts to fade, it does start to fade from my crown. And that's the bit that grows out the most, so that's the most noticeable when the colour fades away. It basically makes me look like I've got a massive bald spot. But when the dye is fresh, as in like a day or two old, the top of my head it's filled out to such an extent now that I am very, 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 very grateful. So the one piece of advice which I've heard mentioned before is if you have any doubts about your gender, and I've said, again, if you've got any doubts about your gender, get onto your GP. But what I will say is if you've got any doubts at all about hair loss, get on to your GP, get onto your chemist. Finasteride, minoxidil, there are all sorts of remedies and they are proven to work if you're lucky. I need to point that out. If you are lucky, it will work. If it is gone, it is gone. There are some people out there, God bless them, they are now stuck with no hair on their head, or with wigs and things of that nature. And I honestly at one point thought that was going to be me. So this is again why I don't want it to come across as sort of boastful, because there are people out there where hair treatment hasn't worked and it's bare minimum £15,000 starting point for hair transplants. So it's one of those. I don't want it to come across as boastful that my hair is growing back, but at the same time it is just really good. I feel really good about it, but I don't want to. There was a thing on Twitter recently And it all kicked off because it was like, yeah, you've been lucky. It wasn't me, I wasn't involved. But it's like, you're taking the piss out of people who have to wear wigs, and I'm like, I've got nothing against people who have to wear wigs. And it's not that I feel sorry for them, but I feel lucky, if you know what I mean. I feel very, very lucky and very hopeful that my hair is recovering. And that sort of makes me, I don't want to look like a jackass, if you know what I mean. But yeah, no, the long and the short of it is my hair is regrowing. I am very grateful for that, and I do feel sorry for anybody who doesn't have that. There are strong, powerful, bold trans women and cis women out there, and I say all power to them. Any other teeth back in, any other circumstances, I may have ended up doing that myself, but I've been very lucky. My hair is regrown, so I want to be able to feel good about that for me, and not come across as a jackass to the people that haven't been as lucky. Wording bad, it's early for me, so yeah, there we go. Still, again, with this section, there is baby hair, and the problem I have is that when I bleach it, it sort of destroys the baby hair, which is why I'm only bleaching it once every sort of 4 months now. And it only really works on a fresh dye job. So I didn't want this to come across as a boast or a rant or an apologetic sort of thing. You've got to do what you've got to do for you and what works for you as well. And in my case, I've been lucky. So yeah, and I can't emphasize high enough, I have been very lucky. But I am very, very grateful for it as well. Yeah. So yeah, just a little bit of a hair update, shall we say. It is getting awfully long now. I still haven't had a trim, but it's basically because my social interaction, yeah, not very good at that, and having somebody touch my hair, it's like, not my favourite thing. It doesn't help, of course, that the amount that I do dye it has slowed the growth of, where it does grow very strongly. It has slowed. I mean, this should be down here by now, but because of the amount of time I have spent dyeing it, I've done myself no favours there. But it's the pink. I've got to have the pink. I don't think I've said this on camera before, but the pink for me is a mental health thing. Because I've explained in the past how when I had my breakdown a couple of years ago, I dyed my hair pink. It didn't take, but I burst out crying. So for me, that's made me realise that the pink hair is a mental health. It's how I deal with it, ish, maybe. My words are just not working well today. And again, you've got to do what you want to do, what you need to do for you. This works for me, so it's not a be all and end all. And literally, again, these are my experiences of transition, and they're not, this will definitely happen to you or stuff like that. I mean, there are women out there who suffer and struggle, and physically, mentally, we all have our issues, and it is how we deal with them. And again, I don't want to downplay that. This is just me that I'm talking about. Right, well, before we start going down that route, I'm going to call it a day. Right, I've got to go to work. I'm out in the sunshine today, so that should be nice. Oh, the dye is slightly UV reactive, so my head's positively going to glow today, so that'll be fun. Right, yeah, I'm going. Right. Speak soon. Take care. Ta-da.